If you're tired of wasting money on Facebook ads that don't convert, feeling like you're just throwing money down the drain and not seeing a real return on your investment, then I'm going to show you how we are able to consistently book $15 qualified discovery calls for our clients using a unique system that we have developed over the past 3 years. My name's Zach. I run a creative content agency that helps buyers agents and real estate professionals book more calls using social media marketing. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you all the secrets and walk you through step by step of what we do, the ads we create, the funnels, the landing pages, the automations of exactly how we're able to achieve this outcome for our clients. So before we dive into any tactical advice, it's important to understand what you might be doing wrong. And now the reason you clicked on this video is probably because your Facebook ads aren't converting too well, or you're thinking of starting Facebook ads and want to make sure you're going down the right track and not wasting any money. So the first mistake you're probably making is your offer is too weak or too generic. For example, I see a lot of real estate professionals running ads promoting or offering a free consultation, a free strategy call, or a free appraisal. Hate to break it to you, but that doesn't cut it because you're the same as everybody else. Literally, everyone runs those ads. So why would I click on yours? It's not unique, or it doesn't differentiate at all. The second mistake you're making is your ad creative sucks. There's a high chance that it lacks emotion, curiosity, has a terrible hook, or is just a Canva template that your graphic designer from India whipped up in 5 minutes. I'm not having a go at anyone. That's just the truth of what I see on the marketplace at the moment. If you want your ads to stand out and convert, then you need to put a lot more time and attention and effort into actually creating that kind of ad. And I'll show you in a sec exactly how you should be creating your ads to get $15 book calls. But the third mistake you're probably making is that you're focused on the wrong metrics. I talk with a lot of buyers agents every single week, and they're too focused on views and clicks when you should be focused on leads and book calls. Getting hung up on clicks and impressions doesn't really matter. I would rather have a lower volume of clicks and impressions, but have a higher volume of quality booked discovery calls. So focus on the right metrics. Don't just try and appease the algorithm. And the fourth mistake you're probably making is that your ad budget isn't sufficient. Facebook has this thing called the learning phase. And depending on your ad budget, it might take a few days or a few weeks to exit the learning phase. This is where Facebook is able to gather data on your target audience and be able to use its machine learning to deliver your ads to the right audience. So if your budget is too low, and I'm talking between $10 and $20 per day, then it might take a significantly longer time to exit the learning phase. Whereas if your budget is over $50 per day, you're going to start seeing results pretty much instantaneously. And in connection with that, your targeting might be too broad or too cold too early on. I'll walk you through a few solutions of how we can fix that in a sec. But if you're sending your ad out to the entire population of Australia, 23 million people, when you're promoting an ad that only talks to property investors looking to grow and scale their property portfolio, then Facebook's going to have a hard time finding who that audience is, right? Try not to go too cold or too narrow early on in your ad campaigns. Okay, now that we've gotten the mistakes out of the way, let's actually dive into some solutions. Now, the first thing that's important to understand is the psychology behind the ads that convert. Yes, if you've got a psych degree, then this is going to help. But it's very important that you get crystal clear on who it is you're trying to target. You need to understand their pain points, their challenges, and their dreams and goals better than they understand it. That's your job as a marketer and as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to deeply understand your audience and what they're thinking and feeling. What we do with every single client that we onboard is we sit down with them and we spend about 2 to 3 hours on Zoom asking them questions and getting them to fill out a document that uncovers their client avatar. And that way we can have this knowledge, which is going to allow us to create better ads. Why is this important? It's important because your customers, they don't want your service. They want the outcome. They want the results. They don't just want to hire any old real estate agent. They want to hire one that is going to achieve a premium price in the shortest amount of time possible. They don't just want to hire a buyer's agent. They want someone that's going to be able to find their dream home in as short a time as possible. Or they want someone that is going to be able to buy property in high growth locations so that they can achieve financial freedom. You understand where I'm going with this? For example, if we look at two ads, one that says, hey, get a free consultation, and the other one that says, hey, let's build a 7-figure property portfolio, which one do you think is more attractive? The second thing behind the psychology of Facebook ads is that you need to get random strangers on the internet to trust you. People aren't just going to click on an ad and book a call with you. They might if the offer is good, but chances are you need to build a relationship with them. So that's why the hook in your video, the first 3 seconds, it needs to, 1, get them to stop scrolling, and then 2, position you as an authority figure in the space, someone that they can trust. Sometimes this might actually take a little bit longer, and this is why you need to look at your ads in a funnel as a whole, because creating the ad and running the ad is just the first part of the equation. There's many smaller steps in between that is going to allow them to build that trust with you. So the best ads that I've seen perform are the ones that clearly describe and present as much value as possible. So it talks about the dream outcome. Might be building a property portfolio, might be selling your property, might be unlocking more borrowing capacity. Whatever it is that you do for your clients, talk about the dream outcome. The second part is credibility. Why should they listen to you? Perhaps you've got lots of case studies. Put those case studies in the actual ads themselves. Perhaps you've done it yourself. You might have a massive property portfolio. Talk about that. You need to give people proof or a reason that they should listen to you. And then lastly, you need to tell them how long is it going to take. Is it going to take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days until they get the result that they're looking for? The shorter the time, the more irresistible your offer is. And if you want to see a full in-depth training on how to create your offer, then watch this video over here. But let's actually dive into how we create our ads. So I'm going to pull up a few examples on the screen and we're going to analyze these together. So when you're creating your ads, I would invite you to script your ad out word for word. What we do is we create 3 different hooks for every single ad we make. So there's 3 different variations of the exact same ad, just with a different intro. And the reason why we do this is so we can split test them and see which one will perform better. I would encourage you to spend most of your time researching and generating ideas and scripts on the first 3 seconds of your video. So once you got your offer in place, once you got your script in place, now it's time to actually start filming. Now, we want to use something that's called a pattern interrupt. You might have heard of this before, but you want to either say something or do something or both that is unusual. For example, let me pull up an ad here. Okay, so we got an ad here with one of our clients who's a mortgage broker. Pay attention for the pattern interrupt. And mind you, this ad is getting $5 book calls. Boom. Okay. First, that was 7 seconds, right? But what we see is cups on a shelf with little pieces of paper that say Townsville Duplex, Sydney Terrace, Melbourne Townhouse, etc. And now we understand that his audience is looking at property investors. So this is going to apply specifically to them because they would have bought properties in different locations all over Australia. And they'd be like, hang on, what's going on here? Why am I looking at a sink with cups on it? So it visually interrupts what people are already seeing. It's a good first 3 seconds. And then Argam pops in and has a look. And then he stacks it. This is an example of a pattern interrupt that works really well. Okay, so in this, you see he's pouring some water into a glass, filling it up, and he's narrating. He's saying, oh, there goes the dream home in Sydney. There goes the old owner occupier. People are like, what the heck's he talking about? And then that gets people to stop scrolling. That's a really effective pattern interrupt. Get creative. Have a little think about what you can do to get people to stop scrolling. One pro tip I would recommend is to always keep the camera moving. Try and avoid using a static tripod like this for your ads. You want to keep it moving and you want to be changing shots every few seconds. If it's just stationary like this, people are going to get really bored. Yeah, you can use effects and B-roll, but honestly, that's pretty boring. Put a little bit more effort into it. A great example of this is Sabri Subi. I don't know if you've seen his ads for King Kong. Spot on. Something's happening every couple of seconds, and he's able to create a 5 or 10 minute ad that hooks your attention for the entire time. And then the last part of the ad is storytelling. Okay? You want to be able to connect with your audience's emotions. Strike them in the heart. Talk about their pain points and their challenges. If they're a real estate professional, if you're a real estate sales agent trying to attract more sellers, then talk about how frustrating it is. If you're a buyer's agent trying to help people buy their dream home, talk about how frustrating it is to go to auctions every single weekend and keep getting rejected because your offers suck or you don't know how to negotiate. Spend 80% of your time on the hook and then the rest of your time storytelling and having a clear call to action to book in for your free training. Okay? In the first ad, we're not pitching to book in a call. Okay? You're giving them something for free. And we'll get into that in a sec. Okay, so once you got your ad creative dialed in, you got an irresistible offer, your hook captures people's attention in the first 3 seconds, you have a solid offer, you have case studies and testimonials to back up your claims, you might be wondering, where on earth should I send my traffic to? And guys, this is important. This is the secret sauce as to how you're actually going to get these booked in calls on a consistent basis. Firstly, we don't send traffic to a calendar page or a book a call page cold. People don't know and trust you enough to be able to do business with you yet. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to create what's called a VSL. A VSL stands for Video Sales Letter, and it's a short 3 to 5 minute video that positions you as an authority figure, explains your unique selling points, addresses their emotional and psychological pain points, and provides a unique solution to solving their problems. From my personal experience, I've seen VSLs convert at the highest rate compared to other lead magnets. That being said, you can also create other free training videos, free downloadable guides, calculators, and other tools to be able to give value to your audience before asking them for value in return. Think of it like any relationship. You wouldn't just walk down the street and propose to the first person you see. Or you don't just go on a date with a girl and then propose on the first date. I mean, you can, but the chances of them accepting that proposal are extremely low. That's why you got to build a relationship with them. It's the exact same principles in marketing. You got to build a relationship first before you can make the big ask, the big pitch in return. So you want to create a VSL, and I'll show you a few examples in a sec. But after your prospect has seen the VSL, you're then going to have a big call to action button on your landing page. A quick note, guys, with your VSL, where do you put it? You put it on your landing page. And a side note, we can do a whole other video on landing pages, but far too often, people have too much information on their website. It's so easy for their prospect to get lost. You want your landing page and your funnel to be so smooth and so seamless, people don't even know they're going through a funnel. Have your VSL and then have a nice big button to book in a call. The next part of the pie is after they click on the big red button, then you're going to want to qualify your prospects with a survey. And from my experience, I found that having a survey that has around 5 to 7 questions with a few multiple choice or drop down options and 1 or 2 short answers are the most effective at qualifying your prospects. It allows you to engage their intent of doing business with you and if they are serious or not. Once they have finished out the survey, you are then going to want to take them to a calendar page, and you're going to want to have your availability as open and flexible as possible, because the more available you are, the more chances or more opportunities they have to book a call with you. Then once they have booked in a call, this is where you want to have your reminders. So we use a software called Go High Level, which is an excellent CRM that allows you to build out these automations and reminders to get people to show up to your discovery call. Typically, you want to have around 4 to 5 reminders leading up until the call on both SMS and email. For example, you would have an SMS and email go out as soon as they book to confirm the call and to establish expectations. After they've booked in a call, then you're going to have a thank you page. And on the thank you page, you're going to create what's called a pre-call video. And now we have recently introduced this into our funnels, and we have seen our show up rate to the discovery call exponentially increase. In your pre-call video, you want to explain what exactly is going to happen on the call. You want to address any potential concerns and provide as much value as possible. You're going to want to use a CRM like Go High Level to nurture and remind these leads about the discovery call they've just booked. So for example, you'd want to have maybe 3 to 5 different reminders on both text and email to remind these prospects. You would have an email and SMS go out as soon as they book a call, one 2 days before the call, one day before the call, one 2 hours before the call, an hour and 15 minutes before the call. And as a little bonus with our lead nurture, there's going to be a lot of people that opt in for your lead magnet or sign up for your VSL, but don't book a call. So that's where we're going to install what we call conversational AI. And you can use this all inside Go High Level to be able to reach out to these leads, re-engage them, and redirect them towards booking a call. And we've seen on average around a 10 to 20% lift in conversions. So that is our funnel, and that is how we have successfully booked 15 to 20 discovery calls for our clients every single month. And this is something that I myself use for my own business to attract leads. But I want to show you a real life example and walk you through exactly what we're doing here. And excuse the puffy eyes, I got chronic hay fever. It's April in southeast Queensland, and for some reason my allergies just go through the roof, and it's rough. So I've got a client's ad account pulled up here, and he is a mortgage broker. This is real time. We're currently running this VSL campaign. This is how we structure our campaigns. Usually we start off with a warm and a cold audience. If you're going to go down the warm audience route, then I'd highly recommend, if you have a contact list or a database of emails, client information, you generally need to have over 1,000 people on your contact list for this to work. If you don't, then don't worry about it. If you do, then you're going to want to upload that into the back end on Facebook, and you're going to create what's called a lookalike audience. Now, this particular client, he didn't have a really big email list, and so we actually created a lookalike audience based off Instagram engagement, people who have been following him on social media and engaging with his content. So Facebook will then create an audience that looks like people who follow him on Instagram. So with our cold audience, this is how we got it set up in Facebook. Spending $20 per day, nothing crazy. And we have Advantage Plus turned on. So we're targeting people all over Australia between the ages of 25 to 65. And we're also giving Facebook a little bit more information, detailed targeting, anyone who is interested in real property or real estate. And if we click on here, we can see that our warm audience is slightly outperforming our cold audience by about 10 cents, which really isn't enough to do anything about. As we can see, we clearly have a winning ad, Facebook ad 3. That's why we create 3 different ads. So we can split test. As you can see, ad 2 was $8 per lead, ad 1 was $7, and this is $6. Therefore, Facebook's doing a good job at spending more money on this particular ad. Now, what does this ad look like, you may ask? I think I already showed you, but it's pouring a glass of water. As far as our primary text, just something simple, and you can use ChatGPT for this if you give it the right prompt. Watch this free training, nothing salesy. And then we have a link to go to their landing page. And I'll show you what this looks like. So this is their landing page. A nice, big, bold headline. How to build and scale a property portfolio without borrowing capacity limits. That's specifically talking to his audience's main problems. He works with property investors, and one of the biggest challenges they face is borrowing capacity limits, where banks aren't willing to give them a loan because they've reached their maximum borrowing capacity. So he's created a free training on how to overcome that. People can go through and they can opt in. You can put in details, and then you go to the free training. And we literally have nothing else on this landing page. It's very, very, very basic. You click the button here and you come over here to our VSL. Now this particular video goes for about 13 minutes long, and it just explains exactly what this title says. And it's an opportunity for Agam here, the client, to be able to give as much value as possible to his audience, and allows him to build trust with the audience. They've spent now 13 minutes with you, so then they can go through and book a call. So super basic calendar page here. Ask them for their name and answer any of these questions here. And then you get taken to a booking page, and you can schedule a time that suits you. And then it gets taken to a thank you page. I won't schedule a call just because the funnel's live. How does the back-end metrics work? So I'll show you the automations we got in place. Firstly, we have this flow here to encourage people to start the survey. Anyone who's given the details here are going to get put into the flow. And then they're going to wait 25 minutes until they've watched the training and had an opportunity to book the call. If they haven't booked a call, then they're going to get put into here, an initial reach out. And it'll say, hey, I saw you put your details in on my website about getting some possible help with building and scaling your property portfolio, but didn't book a time. Are you still interested? And then it's going to wait for a response. And it's going to wait. If they respond, then it's going to get put into conversational AI. And the AI will reach out and engage them and encourage them to book a call. If they don't respond, they'll get another text 24 hours later. If they still don't respond, 48 hours later. And really, you can make this as long as you want. That's how we reach out to people who were interested but haven't booked a call. And then over here, this is how we actually get people to show up to the call. So once they've booked an appointment, then there's a bunch of notifications and tags added here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reminders before the call to show up to the dang call. And that is how we can increase our show up rate. You might be asking, well, Zach, this is great, but what can I do today? I'm glad you asked. The very first thing is start by fixing your offer. This whole funnel and this whole system won't work as effective if your offer is terrible, okay? Spend a lot of time on creating an irresistible offer that solves the problems of your clients, okay? The second thing you can do is actually create good ads. Don't just boost your organic content on Instagram. Boosting posts is just like giving free money to Mark Zuckerberg. It doesn't really do a whole lot of things. I want you to focus on spending more time on creating better ads. Make ads that are funny, relatable, engaging, have great hooks and a clear call to action. And I promise that even if you spend just a few hours a day creating and scripting out an ad, that your conversion rate is going to go through the roof. The third thing is to actually create a lead magnet. Now this can either be a VSL, another free training video, a guide, a course, whatever it is. I'd actually encourage you to read $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozy if you're stuck on what lead magnet to create. It's important that you begin your relationship with the prospect by giving value first. If you're not giving value first, you're going to have a really hard time converting cold traffic. And then lastly, use a CRM or software like Go High Level to nurture the leads until they actually show up to the call. Because I've seen it, if you don't have the right automations in place, then people are going to forget that your show-up rate's going to be terrible and you're going to be wondering what on earth you did wrong. It's very easy to build out. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it makes the world a difference. That concludes this video. I hope you were able to find a little bit of value out of it. Look, if you want to see more videos like this in the future where I break down specific scenarios and funnels and case studies, then let me know. I'm happy to deep dive. If you want to see more behind the scenes on how we create ads, then please comment down below and I'll take the feedback on board. And if you are looking for a little bit of help and need someone to do this for you, then just click the link down below and you can schedule a call on my calendar and we can have a chat and see if we could potentially help you out. But until next time, see you later.